It's Unscripted. Hey guys, I got a question for you. How was Smackdown?
It was really good. It was the first night on USA, and they let off with Cody and Solo in a steel cage. What do you think, Dave? Was it a good match for you?
I don't know because I won't be able to watch it ever again.
Me either. The fuck.
So for context,
Hulu decided to be, in their infinite wisdom, decided to fuck all the fans.
To be fair, I don't know if it's Hulu
over.
and WWE not coming to an agreement. It could be WWE doing the same thing, right?
It's goddamn Hulu, Dave. I'm gonna blame it. Like it's on Hulu. I'm blaming Hulu. Fuck them.
Okay,
And fuck
we'll
all
blame Hulu.
Everything
Fuck
they
Hulu.
do with.
Yeah.
For a huge majority of us out there, we would that don't have cable, which a lot of people in this world don't have cable right now because it's dying. It's dying. We would watch SmackDown the next morning on Hulu, on regular Hulu, catch up for the week. Watch it, get all our stories in for the week, and have a great time. Now that it's on USA, Hulu has decided to fuck the fans and put it on their live. Only available in their live programming, so that we have to pay the $140 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it was
which is outrageous, anyways.
Yeah, it's insane
To be able to watch SmackDown every week.
You might as well just get cable or satellite TV or whatever for those prices, and it's obscene to me. I can't wait till that's over. But have no fear, we've done a little research and we've come to the rescue. And Jess, where can you find? According to what we've seen on a lot of threads, where can you find SmackDown? No problem if you just look it up.
I'm telling everybody, YouTube sucks, and you should go to Dailymotion. And Dailymotion, they don't yank shit down that fast, or at all. So you can go to Dailymotion and watch SmackDown. From what everybody's saying, I haven't tried to do it myself yet. But you can watch SmackDown.
I'm going to test that theory first thing on Saturday morning because we're recording this 9 o'clock Pacific time on a Friday, and that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that right to Dailymotion in the morning, see if it's up there, and I'll report back on Unscripted in the next coming weeks. So
it's our duty.
I think it's going to work.
It's our
duty. It's our job. Sorry,
it's our sacred.
It's our job.
Sacred chore.
Okay, it's our job to do this.
My job to watch wrestling.
It's my job. It's my job to talk shit on wrestlers, even though I only have 600 followers. It's my
Piece
job.
Of shit, fucking 17-year-old fan. Shit. Dirty
basement.
Or
right. So
yeah, it was pretty good.
Happened.
It was a good show. Like there was no like major surprises. Roman Reigns came out at the end of the cage match. Cody pinned Solo clean, which is fucking weird.
Wow.
Like it was moving on from Solo, but like the bloodline storyline still a thing. So Roman comes out. They try to beat up Cody. He fends them all off or whatever. And now they sign for Bad Blood. So the main event, I'm assuming it's the main event, a Bad Blood is going to be Solo and, oh God, what's the werewolf?
Jacob Fatu.
Yes. Those two against Cody and Roman at Bad Blood. So it's going to be a tag match.
Cody and
So we're starting to form the new bloodline, which is the OTC, which is going to be, we all know it's going to be Roman, it's going to be Cody, it's going to be Seth probably down the line. We're going to see, we'll see Jimmy and Jay come back into it, right? We'll see all that kind of stuff down the road.
Yeah, and then they also, it looks like a program is starting between Andrade challenging LA Knight for the U.S. Championship. Andrade won a number one contenders match tonight. So
okay.
I don't know if they're going to face on SmackDown. I didn't catch it. I don't know if they're going to face next week on SmackDown or if it's that Bad Blood. I can't remember. Bad Blood is like first.
I know that the IC finally came down to it, and it's going to be Jay versus our current Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker through that set, and that will be at Bad Blood, Blue Blazer Black. Sorry.
So it's Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Yes, for the Intercontinental Championship.
Face versus face. This seems they're.
I think
Braun Breaker is not a face. No, not anymore. Not anymore.
But he's getting cheered. But well, I guess not. But he was getting cheered for.
He's a stone cold face is the best way to describe it. I guess when they try to make him heel and they cheer for him, people are loving what Braun Breaker is doing. Joe, I agree with you 100%. But he's doing heelish tactics all the way around. He's definitely punishing people and destroying people. He doesn't care. I find the run quite remarkable for someone who has just come up within 6 months, the main roster.
I mean, they're putting a lot of push behind that guy.
Right. Which I find fascinating because of how long it took for LA Knight to win a title belt, and Braun Breaker did it like in 20% of the time, 10% of the time. That is like LA Knight. So I'm not sure who has more stock invested, because it wasn't like they ignored LA Knight. I know a lot of people think that. I disagree, because LA Knight would still get a lot of TV push. He just, would have to come up.
Braun Breaker's the heels. Their whole system is long-term storytelling now, so they don't just disrupt storylines because someone's hot. Like, they're gonna wait and see if they're gonna be hot now. They'll be hot. I mean, you got to be careful about how you coddle them. Like, you don't want to lose their heat. But yeah, the way Triple H does things now, he's like, I'm not interrupting like anything for a hot shot, like a ratings pop, or just someone got cheered last week. Oh, well, we're gonna put the belt on them. Like, that's what Vince used to do. Like, so I think Triple H.
What I feel like with LA Knight too, like they have they see a little bit more of a. Not that they don't see a long-term star with Braun Breaker, but I feel like they see more of a Stone Cold with LA Knight, so they're doing a slow build. And Braun Breaker has, to me, like almost like an Ultimate Warrior push, where they're like, dude's hot, let's give him he needs something else, because he doesn't have like LA Knight has all charisma. Character. Yeah, I mean, he's charisma. They're giving him a slow build, letting him do promos. Where Braun Breaker, they're still unsure. They want to push him, but they're unsure of his promo skills. So he needs a belt to like get a push. LA Knight didn't need it. I mean, eventually he did. Not that he needed, but that we had to see him go to the next level. But Braun, they're like, the guy. We need to put a belt on him to kind of help develop him a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very Austin Theory-esque. But I would argue that Braun Breaker is probably going to do it better than Austin Theory. Not because of Austin Theory, but because of the way storylines are worked now, and who's basically working story now. The whole thing about Austin Theory was he got backed by Vince, and that's like getting backed by, I don't know, like
the devil.
Yeah, I was thinking like, where you roll the dice and you come up snake eyes, like that's like the worst thing that can happen to you. Yeah, it could be a big roll, and you could just get tossed in the gutter like that, because a Vince push can mean so many bad things and so little good things. Back in the day.
It seemed toward the end a Vince push could be like almost like a kiss of death.
That's
especially when he gets on
way
TV,
more
he's
what
like, I pick
that's
you.
Way more
it's
accurate,
like,
Joe.
you just
You're like,
that
fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton beat A-Town and Down today clean. So it looks like they're gonna split both, because I can't see Orton staying face for much longer. Like, seeing him like high five Kevin Owens and all that stuff, I'm like, just give him the fucking RKO and get it over with. Like, I will pay lots of money to see KO versus Randy Orton feud. Like, so just get it over with. Just turn on him. But that's got to happen. I don't trust Randy Orton in a good way. I don't trust him at all. Like, because he's a Viper.
But could you argue though that Kevin should be the heel, or no?
He probably will.
I think they need to put.
But Kevin can do both. They both can do both. That's what's the thing.
I agree with that. Yeah. But Randy's the old guy, face push, gonna put everybody over. I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that wants Randy to win another title and kind of get.
Or they could swerve us too, and KO can turn on him, and that's the push. But I kind of don't want Kevin Owens to be a bad guy, because he's so fun as a good guy, and he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Randy Orton should be heel, and eventually Owens should get the win.
They could have beef, Jess, and still be face versus face and still destroy each other. They have a personal beef with disagreement in the ring. Maybe they don't churn. Which, by the way, I know a lot of people want that heel versus face all the time, but sometimes a good face versus face rivalry where they cross paths, they get in each other's way. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing?" And then they step in. You could do it. You can do it well. There's a way to make that work, especially in this 50-50 market that we're in now. You could do it, and they can still say face and go their separate ways when it's over, or hug at the end. They could, and people would still love it. We're in a different era, guys. It's so different from what we're used to. So either way, those guys putting a match on would better get 5 stars, or we're gonna go to Meltzer's house and tidy up his office again.
Here we go.
Throw away all his shit.
There was something that happened with Nia and Bayley, and I was in and out of it. but I think they set up. Let me go here. Blah blah blah. Because it's see Bailey. Okay, hang on. Because Bailey came out and confronted Nia, who was with Tiffy Time. They're like a little, team.
Right.
And then,
Right.
and then Bailey comes out, and then Naomi came out to back Bailey up because they were looking like they were going to try to double team her. And I want to say that Nia tricked those two into facing each other, and whoever wins, see here, Naomi's in the ring, and she says she isn't going to let them get on Bailey. Naomi says she wants a shot at Jax. Jax offers a tag match. If Bailey or Naomi gets the pin, they get a shot at Jack's title. Bailey and Naomi accept, but Jack says, okay, so it's going to be a tag match. It's going to be Nia and Tiffy Time against Bailey and Naomi. And if Naomi and Bailey, if any one of them gets the pin on either of the other two, that person who gets the pin gets a title shot against Nia. However, if Nia and Tiffy Time pin Naomi or Bailey, the loser has to go to Raw.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, I don't know what that's going to go to. Like, that's going to be really weird.
I can see.
That's my
thinking about who's on.
I didn't want to get it wrong because I was like, I know something like that went down, but I did not want to mess all that up, and I did anyway. It was the worst explanation.
When's the tag match happening?
I get it.
I'm assuming next week, SmackDown. It could be Bad Blood. I don't know.
Probably not. Probably next week. So what's interesting though is that
what about something like this where like say like Nia and Tiffy tag up, go against Bailey's, whatever. Tiffany Stratton at some point maybe like backs up off the match. Nia gets double teamed, she gets pinned, and then Stratton cashes in Money in the Bank on her while she's her tag partner.
So that's what I'm thinking. Is there's so many things they could do because you don't trust Tiffy Time. You just don't because she's got the Money in the Bank, and she's a hockey heel, so she's gonna try to get her comeuppance. And like Nia right now is thinking that she has her. Okay, I got her in my sights. I can keep an eye on her or whatever. But yeah, like I think that something like that will happen.
But also I'm just trying to play out the possibilities. If Bailey went to Raw, that could open up a whole new plethora of possibilities where you could argue that the SmackDown women's set is a little heavy. There's a lot of talent over there. Sending Bailey to Raw could really do some cool shit. I mean, just based on that kind of stigma, if you lose, you're gonna go to Raw. I'm thinking about who she could do some fun stuff with over there. I'm not opposed to that. Like, what is Bailey supposed to do after she lost the title on SmackDown? Like, she's been kind of dormant for weeks. We haven't seen anything from her, and I think this is a deliberate attempt to move her. So we'll see.
Could be,
but
could get a little crowded over there. Like, the women's division on Raw is dominated by Liv and Rhea.
That's it, though.
There's no one else over there.
No, there are, but they're not dominating. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, I just feel like a SmackDown with Tiffy and
maybe
I don't know. I think you leave Bailey there because you got Rhea and Liv are pretty much taking up all the oxygen, like over on Raw.
Yeah.
But it has to end.
If she goes
all
over.
I'm saying, but it has to end. That's what I'm saying, and it's going to end soon. They have to move forward from it.
I mean, it is going to end. I don't think it ends soon. I think that their final. I think they drag this out and it ends at WrestleMania. So they got they got 6 months.
I hope you're right. I'm loving it. So I hope you're right.
But I do want to say that is
that kind of payoff.
Right.
Go here, Bad Blood 2024. I want to say that's one of the matches already signed.
It is
Liv and Rhea. Yeah, so they have Liv and Rhea already signed for Bad Blood, Priest versus Balor, Punk versus Drew, and Hell in a Cell, Nia Jax versus TBA because that whole scenario I just said, and then Cody and Roman signed to take on the Bloodline, Solo and Fatu.
I just feel like because they
only have 5 matches anyway, so that's the whole card. Literally, it's the whole card.
Yeah, and Gunther
I just feel like at this point
participating right now.
Yeah, Gunther
at this point, like they're not dragging out storylines, but they're extending storylines so long that we've had Drew and Punks for 9 months now. Having matches,
and they've only touched twice. By matches, I know they've touched, but they've only wrestled twice.
by match wise, but so they found a bunch of different interesting ways to kind of keep that story interesting. They're gonna keep. I think there's a lot of juice left in. I think there's a lot left in the tank on Liv and Rhea. I mean, I think
I hope so, because
they're gonna drain that tank to the very end.
I love every bit of it. So
it's too hot.
I hope
it's too hot right now to have it end on a B pay-per-view, or like even before SummerSlam.
This is the best. This is the best version of Liv Morgan we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's fantastic right now, and I'm so glad finally it's working. Like when they put the title on her the first time, through the Money in the Bank, I was so excited for her, but I also knew like this isn't gonna last long because she's not, But now she's so comfortable and she knows her role. She knows her character work. Yeah. Rhea went through the same kind of comeuppance. Her first title run was a little rocky, and now this dude, they are doing phenomenal work, and I love watching them go and watching them. I think they stretch this out a little bit and extend it, and they don't recrown Rhea as champ until WrestleMania. I think they're going to wait to do that. Well, she's a new face. She should chase. The face should chase. Yeah. That's what it is.
She's going to get screwed at Survivor Series. She's going to get screwed at Royal Rumble, and then she's going to come up on WrestleMania. At Mania.
Yeah.
Be great. What's funny about the whole thing though is I watched a few socials, and I do tend to agree. We forget so quickly about how all this went down. Do you guys know how all this went down, right? You know how Dom is in this position that he's in is because he's in total PTSD of Rhea Ripley beating the shit out of him for like 2 months, 3 months, until she said, "Be my boyfriend, and I will continue to beat you." And he's like, "Okay." That's how it all started. You guys all forget. That's how it went down, right? The likes of Damian Priest coming into play. He was one of the OGs with Edge. Finn comes in and kicks Edge out, right? And you're like, what is exactly happening here? All these people churning on others it's not oh, woe is me, I'm the good guy now. No, it's karma. Like I know the storyline wants us to believe different, but Rhea Ripley, I know she's a fan favorite, and she got over, and she kind of naturally became a face. But we all forget how she got there. She got there by beating the shit out of Dom for like 2 to 3 months every week, like just destroying him, and then making him be her boyfriend. Like that. That's how it happened.
I mean, Dom never used the safe word either. Like.
Fair enough. I'm just saying it's interesting how people forget how we got here, right?
If Dom didn't want it to happen, all he had to do was say pineapple, and everything would have been cool.
Pineapple. Yeah.
Last
love it.
Fucking Saturday. It was last Saturday. AEW had All Out. I did not watch it. It's 2 weeks away from All In. Like I was like, I'm not spending $50, $100 within 2 weeks. That's just silly talk. Right. And then of course, and I enjoyed All In. I already talked about how I enjoyed All In. This card, from what everybody says, was way better than All In, and I was like, oh fucking course, like it's the one that I don't get.
It was.
But so I guess the TV deal is looming. They haven't officially announced it yet, but the rumors have it is that he has inked a deal, Tony Khan has, with Warner Brothers. And so they will be staying on the network or whatever, and that a streaming deal is in place as well. They just haven't come out and announced it yet.
Which means they'll stream on Max for sure.
Probably, and it couldn't come at a better time. And I hope it's affordable, or at least you give a free trial at first, because it couldn't come at a better time, because their attendance is still bad, and like they need to figure out like something. And I think the key is getting it streaming so more people can watch, because unfortunately, when there's a smaller product or a less watched product, and it's always going to be than WWE because they're always the big dog, people are just going to believe all the bullshit they hear without actually watching it. If you actually watched AEW,
it's good.
Is the storylines perfect? No. Like, I mean, they have some
but
good
it's better
episodes
than it's been.
Some bad.
They're doing better.
But their pay-per-views are always good, and
right.
I guess All Out had some really controversial moments. One of them being it was a hardcore women's match. Willow and Chris Statlander, I guess, almost stole the show, because there was like 3 or 4 matches on here that everybody was like, holy shit. I guess they were bleeding, and I guess everybody says it was phenomenal. And but it's 2 women, so they're like, that's bullshit, that's gross, don't do that stuff. So now you polarize them with that. Then in just a regular match, what's his name? God damn it. Pac. beat or
took
on Will Ospreay, and Ospreay beat him.
Ospreay,
But
right?
everybody said that match was just fucking amazing. Like everyone's like, Jesus Christ, like those two were meant for each other, like Pac and Ospreay. So that was really good.
Why are we surprised about Pac at all? I mean, outside of
or even
injury, he's
Ospreay at that
phenomenal.
point, like
Right.
And then Mercedes, I guess, had a better showing. Not she didn't steal the show, but she had a better showing and defended her title. Bryan Danielson and Jack Perry. So the big controversy about that is the Combat Club turned on Bryan Danielson, which is fine because they've been last week they brought out Moxley, and he's got like you could see he's kind of like different. He wears like a white t-shirt and just regular jeans, and he was up to something, you could tell. And then he turned on Bryan Danielson and took a plastic bag and tried to suffocate him and kill him. And so people were like, no, you didn't. So that was a big deal, which makes me think of, Joe, we know this. In 1989, Terry Funk tried to murder Ric Flair with a plastic bag. But it got all kinds of bad things. Like the sponsors were pissed, and a lot of people are drawing parallels now. They're like WCW was struggling then as well. They were losing their audience in '89, even though Flair and Steamboat and Flair and Funk were putting on classics. They just couldn't find their audience because, like, you don't have this voice. Your product isn't like we're this, and sometimes we have this, but we're this. Like AEW is like we're gonna still give you everything, and that's the hill that Tony Khan looks like he's gonna die on. Like he's like we're just gonna give you everything.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna give you everything you want in a pay per view. So that was controversial, and then of course. Fucking cage match,
but that was
Hangman
on the.
and good.
No, that was on the pay-per-view, or that was on Dynamite.
No, that was pay-per-view.
The bag.
That was pay-per-view.
The plastic bag.
Yeah, it was pay-per-view. Okay. Yeah. So
I see on pay-per-view. I feel like you can do whatever you want. I think they need to be careful on their sponsors on their television shows. Like they'll be doing like women bleeding and like plastic bags over people's heads and stuff like that on maybe their free TV shows.
It just seems that Tony Khan is just like, nope, I'm going to appeal to this audience, and I will never betray them, even though like it's shrinking. And I love their style of wrestling, but I maybe love's a strong word, but I mean like because some stuff I'm like that was dumb. But like of course, Hangman and Hangman Adam Page took on Swerve in the main event in a cage match, and it was brutal. Like people, they were power bombing each other on fucking cinder blocks. Like it was out of control. And then, it was like really, really crazy. And then, God, what was the ending on that? It was another. So he took. Okay, that's what he did. He gets Swerve on his knees. He gets a fucking real life syringe, and he shoves it through the cheeks of Swerve, and then he chair shotted the shit out of. I mean, headshot, chair shotted Swerve harder than I've ever seen. Like, and I was like, oh my god!
Can I just say that Swerve just doesn't give a shit?
He came from that.
He was putting staples in his chest.
Their chemistry
at the
together,
forum. Like, oh my god.
Their chemistry together is awesome and excellent, and like I don't care. They could fight all the time, and I'll be like, I'm just gonna watch all of them. Like they're just wonderful together. Like. Wow. And I love that style of wrestling to a certain extent. Like,
right. I was about to say that to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I was going to say, let me throw that out there. Like we've been wrestling fans for a long time. And I remember, we always wanted to see a good match. We always wanted to see like a good story and like a hard hitting match. But at what point does it start to, I don't know. I remember when watching some early ECW stuff and kind of being turned off a little bit from ECW because it was like
I was too.
I'm no longer watching professional wrestling anymore.
It was
I'm
watching violence for violence sake.
I'm just watching people beat the shit out of each other with weapons.
Well,
it's like as much
Joe.
as I like to see, as much as I like to see all that, I'm wondering: are we going to get at a certain point? We're going to get fatigued, and what else are they going to... They're either going to... AEW is going to keep having to raise the bar of violence, or they're going to lose the hardcore audience that they have. And at what... or they're either going to have to continue to raise the violence, or they're going to start losing people.
I'm glad that you said that, Joe, because everybody always draws the parallel because they just take the dwindling crowds and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's the dying days of WCW, and they compare it. I'm like, I more compare it to exactly what Joe said. It's ECW, because when I first started watching ECW, I was turned off too. However, I missed it because I stopped watching at a certain time. I missed when Malenko and Guerrero and Mysterio and Benoit all came in there and they tore the fucking house down. So you had that. But unfortunately, because it's the chamber that AEW is in right now, a niche amount of people watch that product now. A niche amount of people watched ECW. I didn't. So all I heard was it's hardcore, it's unsafe, and it's like dirty and all that stuff. Meanwhile, I read in the magazines, I'm like, oh, I guess like they had one of the greatest cruiserweight matches of all time. Like, you know, and it's weird.
By
And
the way,
AEW is the same thing. No one's watching AEW right now, or very few people are. And so all the other people that are not watching it are only hearing, oh, that's the promotion where they stick syringes through and they try to suffocate people with bags. But they don't realize that you have Pac and Ospreay, clean wrestling match, fucking tore the house down.
Yeah.
Like,
what a great point.
But then there was
Again,
3 matches on there that were hardcore, you know, like, so it's like if you don't,
but by the way,
just like ECW, you know, you hear all the bad stuff, but you don't really.
You know what changes? You know what changes all of that though, Jess, is just finding easier paths to watch it. So once it streams, that all goes away. All of that issue.
God, they need to be so fucking aggressive, like with streaming and getting people to watch that product again.
You just need to find a way to get people to find an easy platform to watch, and we're 99% sure it's going to be Max. Max is the easiest platform you could ever possibly stream.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
And I hope so because when I watch ECW, I think it's a great product. I love watching it.
At the time, I didn't. I didn't know at the time, and I was very turned off by it. But as we go back now and watch it, I'm like, fuck, man! Like everything with RVD, everything like that Bigelow did when he went there, Taz, Douglas, like they were all great, all of them.
And so AEW is kind of flirting that line too, where it's like you have Pac and Ospreay, you have MJF and Ospreay, or MJF and Mike and Bryan Danielson, or you know, like you have all these like very creative, like intense, like bangers. They're putting out bangers. And then on the flip side, you have like a level of violence that keeps escalating every time. It's like taking staple guns and doing it. As much as it was awesome to see, I'm like, I remember watching it live and I'm like, man, that's fucking intense, dude. Like,
it was like intense. When he drank his blood, I was like, that's fucking, I've never seen that before.
I was like, I've never seen that. That's awesome. But at what point, you know, it's like, what's going to happen next? Are they going to like?
And that wasn't even their WrestleMania. That was a small pay-per-view in the Forum. It wasn't even their WrestleMania, as we would say.
I don't want them to. I want them to kind of be true to themselves and like kind of continue to put on these awesome products. I don't want them to water themselves down. But on the flip side, I'm like, man, you're gonna have to cap it at some point. And when you cap it, are you going to start pissing off fans your fans that you have? Like you have to somehow bring in an additional set of fans to watch Ospreay and Pac and MJF and Danielson without scaring them away with Swerve and Hangman Page.
Yeah, you know, which if you're not used to that, you're like, and that was the only thing, that criticism. Look, the headshots, I don't care, and I don't mean that in a rude way because it's fucked people up or whatever. But I'm like, if 2 grown adults are like, do it. Whatever, like, but they do gimmick the chairs now. I guess, you know, when you sit on a folding chair, the piece that goes across like your upper back, that's what they hit them in the head with. So they gimmick that now, so it pops out. So when you hit him with it, you know, like the wooden chairs, they'd hit Ming with the wooden chair and it would hang around his neck, but like the base would break out. They designed it now to where it breaks out. It's still fucking metal, but I mean, like it breaks out when it hits, so it's not like this solid.
It's all gimmicked, man.
But it's chairs still fucking. It's still,
and they're not still chairs. Horrific. They're probably aluminum.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's horrific to watch and hear. And so I think they're changing that a little bit. But I'm like, the headshots never bothered me. Nobody got bothered by it during the Attitude Era. We saw it every fucking Raw. Like, you know, and nobody said shit then. Everybody was like, that's fine. Like, I mean, the majority of people, there was always critics of WWF saying, that's bullshit, you're killing people. But, and then Foley falls off a fucking cage. But I mean, like, it's just, you're never going to have another Vince McMahon. In other words, Tony Khan's not Vince McMahon, or he'll never be Vince McMahon. Ever.
Be that.
And he'll never be Paul Heyman. Ever. And like,
that's
so it's
okay,
like,
by the way. That is fine.
That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that from the beginning. It doesn't matter who was saying from the beginning, oh, this product's going to get stale out. They might be selling out now, but in 2 years, they're going to struggle to fill buildings. I never disagreed with that. I'm like, maybe. But like, the thing is it's different and it's alternative and we need it. And like, so look, they need to adjust. He's willing to still dump money into it. He doesn't care. Like, he's going to keep doing it until they figure it out. Like, so, and maybe they'll never figure it out.
Do you think though that like some of these guys like are gonna like some of those top stars like MJF, Ospreay, not so much Danielson, but maybe a Swerve, maybe a Okada. are they going to start to get a little bit nervous? Then I mean, obviously they're getting a paycheck; they kind of don't care. But from a professional wrestler slash like artist perspective, are they going to get a little tired of doing this in front of 3,000 people?
I often think that, right?
And start to jump ship because they're like, well, I want to do it in front of 15,000 on Raw.
Yeah.
Though they, it's like, like, are you going to lose these guys because of the?
I think it's going to be a back and forth,
TV
right?
crowds?
I think that the faster that AEW realizes what they are, when they first started, it was different and they got a talent because of the fact that they were new and they were throwing competitive money around. Vince was stale at the time. So like it worked. But then the second WWE got cool again, they're too big and powerful. And like, especially when they're firing all cylinders, you can't compete with them. Nobody can.
Yeah.
And so now it's like Tony Khan he's not adjusting. He's still thinking that, oh, I'm still the place that people want to be. I'm like, you are not. And you're overpaying Okada and Ospreay and Swerve and all of them.
He had to throw a lot of money to get those guys over there, man.
Well, just to keep them because they all just re-signed. And I'm like, that's right. You don't want them to go because you're scared. Like, so it's like, and I get that, and you're retaining your top talent, and I get you need to have a core, but I wonder that too, Joe. Like when Edge walks out or Monet, like, but Monet saw half-empty buildings too. They weren't lighting the world on fire in 2017, 18, and 19, WWF. They were tarping off half their arenas for their TV taping. So, like, you're right. Like, they came from the environment where they were starting to click again or whatever. And then, I wonder what Edge thinks. Like, when he walks out, he's like, fuck, like, man, like, this is crazy right now.
Or even
you gotta think
Okada
like
coming
even
from New Japan, it was a different world.
I mean, like a guy like MJF or Ospreay or Okada, they've wrestled in the Tokyo Dome with 40,000 people. They've wrestled like and just like us, they're probably watching WWE product. They're probably watching. They watch SummerSlam, they watch Raw, and they're seeing Raw have 17,000 people every week, and they're like, we have 2,500.
And you're talking like what 60 consecutive sellouts now or whatever it is. It's like just keeps going.
But it's a wave. PLE. It's a wave. WWE will dip sooner than later too, and I don't mean they may not dip to the levels that they were in 2019 or whatever, but like they're going to dip a bit.
Here's what I think though is that when you look at it, the gate itself used to be the end all be all. Now the gate is just the cherry on top of the cake, so to speak. Now, to Joe's point, well, wrestlers see that and go, well, you can't sell gate, so I'm going to go somewhere else because they think that old school way, and they're not thinking about the streaming stuff that's going to come, where it's going to bring ultra major revenue to them. Hopefully somebody's in their ear talking to them, but wrestlers will look at gate and go, well, I don't want to be here, to your point, Joe. So it's an interesting dynamic.
I'm not even talking about money at a certain point. I'm talking about them as empty performers not wanting to perform in front of 2,000 people. They want to perform in front of 20,000.
Well, but Joe, if it was 2,000 seats
their money's
and sold out,
their money's not going to change.
If it was 2,000 seats and sold out, that's a different story. But if it's 2,000 seats in a 15,000 seat arena, that's a big fucking problem.
And that's what they're experiencing right now. Like ECW was different because they'd only get 2,500 people, but it's this cram bingo hall, and it was like electric. The three of us, we reviewed one of the ECW pay-per-views. I don't think we gave any of the matches more than a C, but it was the environment. Like people were there. They're like, this is our club. Like this is our thing that we're a part of, the
and first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, Tony's got to either realize that he is that, or he has to realize hey, I am the B choice, and that's okay. I'll embrace it. Like it seems like he's still trying to hang on to I'm the place to be, like that philosophy, which I know you have to have a winner's attitude, right? You always got to think I'm the best. I get that, but like you got when you're talking about business or thinking about the future, going, maybe we try to find some civic centers, guys, like that. The max holds 8,000 or 6,000. Like maybe maybe we scale down a little bit. And we go to the B cities that are right next to, like the big major city or whatever. Like, you just got to start thinking that way.
So while we're on the topic of this too, did I read or I saw on the thread that they're putting a new show out too, Shockwave?
No, they took out a copyright on Shockwave. So something is called AEW Shockwave. Now I don't know what that is going to be.
Maybe like a December pay-per-view.
It could be a pay-per-view. It could be like a pre-show, like before their big shows or whatever.
What if it's a wrestler? It could be a wrestler. Come on.
Maybe
Shockmaster.
like shock castrating falls. But yeah, no, I saw that too, and I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. I mean, I don't know if they would do like a streaming only show. I have no fucking idea what he's up to. I do think they have too many fucking shows right now. I think they need to
maybe that's what the Max streaming is going to be called, is Shockwave. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe as well. Yeah, maybe it's AEW Shockwave. That's the package you buy or something. I don't know. Like, so who knows? Like,
that could be cool.
Yeah, I did. I forgot all about that. Actually, yeah. So they did that. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's a big deal. I'm hoping that it helps them. If you can make it streamable and people find it, like, I think that's better. Even though I know it's on TBS and TNT, which is just as available as USA, but like, I think that for people who are put off by it and they just listen to the negative, they won't go out and watch it. But if they can stream, I'll stream it from 2 years ago or just recently. I heard that they put on
but it's a super interesting concept that the people that are experiencing the TBS issues of AEW are now going to experience the exact same issues with SmackDown via not having a cable affiliate that they don't want to deal with. Interesting. See what happens.
Raw's going to Netflix. I know a lot of people already have Netflix, but now it's not on free cable. It's not free cable, but I mean, like, it's not part of your package deal on cable anymore. You have to get the specific streaming, like, to get it. And so, I'm sure people will, but we'll see. Like, I don't know what any of that means.
And I actually think that, like, obviously, like, it will them going to Netflix will drive a little bit of foot traffic to Netflix. But I think for some of it, it will keep people around. Like, I was borderline ready to cancel Netflix just because I was
anymore.
There's not, like, I'm not watching it. Like, every time I click on it, there's like the shows they're not having any interesting shows. There's like whatever. But now if Raw is going there, I'm like, maybe I will keep it.
Yeah, we're all waiting for Tiger King 2. We didn't get it, Joe. I mean, it's a problem.
I didn't see Tiger King 1. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Well, you didn't?
That's why.
I think
that's why you didn't get excited about Chimp Crazy when I was telling you about it. Oh my gosh!
I think when it came out, I was so, like, kind of disgusted by it that I was like, I can't watch it.
I don't blame you for being disgusted by it, but yeah,
I can't watch it.
Yeah, Chimp Crazy is probably worse, Joe. You might not want to watch it then. It's so bad, so bad. Chimps just ripping faces off, but okay, it's all good. Chimps have their own version of wrestling, in that show.
Whoa, excuse me.
Yeah, bless you.
Monkeys are dangerous, dude.
Well, I think that's it.
Once monkeys get a certain age, they get pretty dangerous.
They'll rip your face right off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's it. There's no Craig here. I don't have a slogan. End it.
Nah.
Craig, we'll see you at the matches, buddy.
See you, buddy.